Hi, welcome back to Jurassic Park Nails.
Whoa, oh my goodness, my face! I am very sorry, oh dear.
Part 2. This time we're going to be doing the right hand with our Jurassic Park themed nails. I actually was deciding for a long time what I was gonna do. I have so many ideas, and then I was talking with a friend, and then we were talking about like the new movie Jurassic World, and then we just got on to talking about Dilophosaurus, and then I was like, oh yeah, the Dilophosaurus. I am going to do that. So like a maniac, I decided to attempt a dinosaur portrait with my non-dominant left hand.
Insane.
But hey, I was up for the challenge. So if you want to see how I did these Dilophosaurus nails, then keep watching. So I got my nails done. This is now my base, my portrait, and I already poured out some of my colors that I think I'm going to need. So let's get started. Hello, how is everyone? Thank you again for watching this video, and I hope you're excited to see. I am thinking back to when I did this because it was a couple weeks ago now, and I'm like, oh my god, I painted that with my left hand. Yay! I'm just giving myself a little pat on the back because I feel like a lot of the time I'm usually a bit modest or whatever, or you know, in the past I have had a bad habit of putting myself down or not giving myself enough credit, and so I'm trying to break that cycle of bad behavior and yeah, give myself more props. So I'm actually feeling pretty proud of myself and pretty pleased with myself for doing such a cute little job. Anyways, I hope that you think I did a really good job and enjoyed this design and this little tutorial. So yeah, I'm just going to explain what I did and have a nice little chit chat with you guys and update you on a few little life things that have been going on in my world. But I hope you are okay, and let me know in the comments, what have you been up to? What is life throwing your way at the minute? Please let me know. So to start this design, I have taken a gel color that is a little bit see-through, a little bit transparent. It's kind of like a browny gray kind of color. So this is just to sort of do a rough, very light outline of the design that I want to do. So I did pull up a picture of the Dilophosaurus on my phone, so I did have something for reference to copy from. So I'm not just completely winging this. That would be very impressive, but that's not what we're doing because I wanted it to look somewhat good. So yeah, always have a reference picture. Like, just do that, okay? But obviously we're going to be painting on top of this, so you don't want this outline to be thick at all, otherwise it's going to clump and be bumpy where you don't want it to be. So yes, if you can find something that is quite translucent, that is just like the equivalent of a very light pencil line, you know, if you were to be doing this on paper with pen and pencil, you can use any gel color that you want. You just want to make sure it is one that is a thin consistency, and also a light color is preferable. Today we're going to be painting over with some bold, bright colors, so it wouldn't matter too much, but you don't really, if you can help it, want like a super dark outline, and then it's just maybe a little extra work to cover it later on. So just a little tidbit there if you are trying this out yourself. So I'm just going to pull up the reference photo that I'm using just so you can see it. And what I'm trying to do is just do a rough outline on my nails where I think everything needs to be. So basically just an outline of everything. So you've got the face, you've got the little, you know, the fanned wing things, I don't know what we're calling those, that I'm spreading out onto the other nails. So basically the middle nail is going to be the face, and then its face wings are going to be on the two nails either side. So I'm just trying to give myself rough markers of where I think everything should be based on the picture. So I was pretty happy with my outline there, and so I have started to go in with some color. One thing I did want to mention is this is kind of like messy. It's one of those things where you do have to just trust the process a little bit. So if you're doing this and it's looking a hot mess and you're unsure, don't worry, just try to just be confident with your strokes and just continue through. Even if at the end it doesn't really look that good, it's okay. Like, that's your first attempt, and then just do it again and again and practice. But don't be too much dilly-dallying and perfecting, especially at this stage, because it's not gonna matter. There is plenty of time to fix and perfect later on. So I'm taking my darker green color here, and as you can see, I've started to put it on the nail. So I decided to go at the edge of these little face wing flap things, and I'm using this color kind of like my base color. Obviously you can see from the reference that, you know, whatever color it is, it's not exactly the same here because I'm doing more of a cartoony kind of look. And so with illustrations and artwork, you can just kind of, you know, mix up the rules and do what you want. So sometimes you want to just pick colors that relate more to you, or whatever colors you want that make you happy. You don't necessarily have to try to go exactly like the reference and super hyper realistic. If we were going for a super hyper realistic look, then yes, maybe I would do different, more realistic colors. But like the background, we've got this very bright aqua kind of color, and so yeah, I'm just going for something a little more fun, a little more bold. And obviously you can see the left side, the designs that I did, it's all very bright saturated colors. So I also want something that kind of complements that. I wanted to do different colors, but something that would be equally bright and bold, if that makes sense. But honestly, you can do any colors. I also tried to do like similar colors to the reference, but my own. But you know, there's nothing stopping you from doing like a pink dinosaur, or like maybe colors from a different theme from a different movie or a character or something. You know, like you can do whatever you want basically. So now I've mixed up a different shade of green, a slightly more darker foresty kind of green, and I'm just going in on the face, just trying to emphasize a different area. So I'm actually just painting the Dilophosaurus's head plates. Dilophosaurus actually means two-crested lizard, so that's where it gets its name from, and it's because of its very obvious double crest on the top of its head. Personally, I do really love just the look of this dinosaur, especially with its like face flap things. I just think it looks kind of cool, the markings on it, and well, how Jurassic Park portrays it. Obviously we don't really know how it would totally look, and just going around casually spitting venom in your enemies' faces also is a total vibe. So I do outline the dinosaur, but I do also want to be very cautious of what colors I'm using, because I want to try and separate the sections so that the face is a little bit separated from its face wings, and I want to get a mix of darker and lighter colors in there for contrast, because I line with a black, which is a dark color, and then if I'm using a lot of other dark colors in the painting and design, then basically it's going to sort of blur together and look like one big blurry blob, and we don't want that. We want it to be very clear and distinctive, and we just want it to look good. So have you seen the new Jurassic World movie? Let me know in the comments. I have to confess, I've already seen it twice. Yes, I went to see it a second time because I loved it so much. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. I think it had some like pretty funny moments. Some parts did seem pretty scary, especially the like mutant alien looking dinosaur. I mean, he was also kind of cute looking, but how they designed it, it was pretty reminiscent of the alien from the Alien movies, if you know that franchise. So I'm not sure how intentional that was, and I don't know exactly how I feel about that. Is it copying too much? I don't know. But what I do know is that Dolores is so flipping cute, and I would do anything for a baby dinosaur pet. So the whole reason I'm doing Jurassic Park Nails anyway is because it's my wedding anniversary at the end of July, and yes, we had a Jurassic Park themed wedding, which was pretty epic. It was very beautiful, very unique. Of course, I had to do something that no one else is doing, or barely anyone else is doing. I don't know anyone else personally who had a Jurassic Park themed wedding, but my cousin got married earlier this year and she had a Harry Potter themed wedding. So yes, we like to do crazy themes for our weddings in this family, apparently, keep it interesting. But another fun thing about my wedding is that we got our wedding photographs published in a magazine, a bridal magazine called Today's Bride. It's a Canadian magazine, so they featured our photos in the magazine, which was pretty exciting. But anyway, back to the nail designs. As you can see, I'm using a mix of other greens, a much more lighter green to blend in and put in some details around the face of the dinosaur. And I'm trying to make it lightest in basically the center of the face, where it would be the most protruding out, so that it's looking just a little bit more real, a little bit more full of life and not so flat. You know what I mean? So I've kind of left the mouth area there blank for the moment, and I'm also going in with some brown gel polish again around the middle, like where its mouth is, or its nose rather, again just to give it more 3D-ness and less like a flat cartoon. And I'm using brown so that everything's not fully green, and to sort of give it a little bit more dimension and to help define like the different areas, and so it's not just a big green blob that's blurred into each other, because obviously this canvas is very small, so we have to make everything crystal clear, otherwise it's just gonna look silly. So yes, me and my husband, we had a lovely third wedding anniversary. We watched Jurassic Park and I served him some food that related to the movie, the scenes in the movie. So like for one scene, there's a scene with Lex and she is holding a spoon with green jello on it, and she's all smiling and happy, enjoying the desserts. And then she looks up and she can obviously see a dinosaur. We don't see it, but we know something's up, because now she has a terrified look on her face and she is shaking out of fear, and she's just shaking her spoonful of jello. Anyways, so for that moment of the film, I presented a spoon with a dollop of green jello on the spoon. Then there's another very iconic scene with a big pile of and so for that I had done like a chocolate cake situation. Made it look like a pile of poop. But we had a lot of fun and we enjoyed all the snacks. It was an idea that I'd seen on Instagram, so I can't take credit for the idea. So thank you to whoever it was. I stole your idea and it was great. We had a great time. And I will post pictures of all of the meals that I did on my Instagram, so go check that out if you want to see what I did. Okay, now I'm just taking some black gel polish and I'm going inside the mouth area to block that all out. Not only was it our wedding anniversary this week, we also celebrated Mark's birthday, my husband's birthday. So yeah, it's been a little full on this week especially, and yeah, lots of celebrating. Although we did actually have to keep it very low key because we got sick. I got sick again. So I don't really know what's going on with me. I am going to the doctor because I am just a little paranoid, but I've been ill a lot recently, I feel like. So yes, not cool, but I'm fine now. I just got a bit of a cold, sore throat, the sniffles, just the usual cold and flu-like symptoms. And then I infected Mark with my germs and he also got sick. So one day this week we actually had a cute little duvet day together where we were both feeling really terrible and just couldn't even make it out of bed. And yeah, we were just feeling very sorry for ourselves. So in the mouth area, I actually am painting on a tongue. I'm using like some purple and pink kind of colors. Later on, I paint the teeth. The teeth would have looked better with just the black background, the white on black. But I also thought with its mouth open, it definitely needed to include the tongue. Otherwise, it would look weird. But I've moved on to the flaps. I still don't know what to call these things. The face flaps. And I'm going in with some yellow color, mixing and blending with the green, trying not to cover all of the green completely and mix it up too much, because I want to keep some of like the strokes and the dimension and the sort of the texture. And I'm also using yellow to mix in with the green to make lots of different variations of green to dark to light. And I also want to make it lighter around the face, not just because that is the color that it should be, but also to create contrast from the face so it doesn't blend in too much. Once I'm happy with that, I then go in with my red gel polish, and I'm just trying to copy the reference image and recreate the red pattern that it has on these face wing things. I actually really enjoyed doing this part, and the dinosaur is starting to come together a bit more now. It's looking more realistic, and yeah, starting to see the vision. Again, trusting the process. Okay, so let me tell you about my little hair disaster that I have going on right now. So very recently I had a hair appointment, and as you know, I've got black hair. I'm not naturally black haired. I'm like a what I call sandy blonde, dirty blonde. I had let my roots grow out for quite a while, and the black dye had just started to fade slightly. So when I called to book, I was like, yeah, I just want my roots touching up, and then but maybe also just go over again with the black, just because I want it to be like super dark, super black, and yeah, I don't want it to look patchy or faded or anything, you know, I want it like perfect. Anyways, when I got there, before my appointment, I had started looking at inspo pictures of like all this different stuff, different colors, and I was seeing a lot of dark brunettes with highlights, balayage, yeah, just all these other like blonde styles, and I got very inspired. So then I asked my stylist if we could do that instead. Like, do we have time? Is it achievable? And she was like, yes, it's definitely achievable. We can do it. I've got time. Great. Perfect. So she started the process of stripping the black dye from my hair. She left me at the sink for a little while whilst it was doing its thing, but she kept coming back to check up on me, and everything seemed fine. Everything was looking good, and it looked like it had stripped really well, and my hair was like had lifted to like a coppery, orangey brown kind of color, which is exactly what we wanted for what we were doing. But then there is a second part of this process where the hair then has to, I don't know, because I'm not a scientist or a hairstylist, so it has to process a bit more. Anyway, in this part, my hair did something weird, and it had like some sort of chemical reaction where all of the black dye that had just sort of lifted out somehow went back into my hair, and so it didn't actually lift to a coppery brown color. It went all the way back to how it was. I also have very thick hair, so she had already actually used 2 boxes of the color remover on me instead of normally you would just use 1 box, and she went to look for more, but then she let me know that they didn't have any more. They had run out of hair remover, so yikes. So at this point, I'm sat here with sort of black, brown, patchy looking hair with my roots still looking terrible because we hadn't touched the roots yet. We hadn't done anything else aside from attempt to strip the color, which yeah, it was still very dark, but then there was like these 2-3 random patches of where it had stayed lifted, which yeah, super weird. But not only had they run out of hair remover, she also informed me that she was running out of time with me because she had more clients coming in after me. And also the best part of all, this was actually her 3rd to last day. She's leaving, she's going to the other side of Canada, and so yeah, she's never coming back. So I'm looking like a crazy person, and yeah. Oh, and by the way, I also have my grandma's funeral next week, so what are we gonna do? But I'm not mad about it, to be honest, because I changed my mind last minute. She maybe should have said no, but we're here now. Also, my hairstylist, she is so good. She always takes care of me. All of the past appointments I've had with her before have been phenomenal. She's really good. So yeah, it's all good. And don't worry, I am going back in a few days' time and they're gonna fix me up. We have a plan, but it does just mean that for a few days until then I have to look a little bit crazy with a little bit crazy hair. But to be honest, it's not that bad, but maybe I'll be wearing a hat just to cover up my roots. But I should have known with my life experience that changing your mind super last second, usually it doesn't work out. So whatever. Still, I gotta do what I gotta do, you know? Whatever I'm feeling at the time is always the right decision. So yeah, in my next video, I will update you with how that next appointment goes. Maybe I will look beautiful, or maybe it'll be even more of a disaster. No, I have all the faith in them. They are a really good studio. Everyone is so good. So I know they're gonna fix it, and yeah, they're not gonna let me leave a second time looking anything but perfect. But has anything like that ever happened to you? Do you have any crazy hair stories? Any bad experiences from hair salons? Let me know in the comments. Or if this happened to you, what would you do? How would you react? Would you be freaking out? Let me know. Anyways, as you can see, I have my liner brush and I'm going in with my black gel polish, and I am just outlining everything, outlining my cute little Dilophosaurus buddy here. This was pretty tricky. Again, doing this with my left hand was pretty crazy. I just obviously took my time, did little bits at a time, and outlining definitely gives it that much more cartoony look than a realistic look, which is what I wanted. So yeah, I was actually really pleased with how I did and how this turned out. I'd say the hardest part of this dinosaur portrait was actually painting in the teeth, because it's so small and fiddly, and the white gel polish that I used didn't stand out as much as I was hoping. I think because of the colors that I used for the tongue with the pink, it was actually too similar in hue or saturation, so it ended up looking a bit muddy. You couldn't really make out the teeth that well, so I actually redid that, but I'm glad I redid it because it did look much better in the end. And the best part was trying to put the whites of the eyeball, like the highlight of the eyeball, in the eyes, because the area is so small. It was really tricky to do, but it was kind of like a challenge that I enjoyed, because putting the highlights of the eye is always my favorite part. Anyways, let's take a look at the final reveal. Here they are, the beautiful nails, and as you can see, I added the venom spit on the little pinky and the thumbnail, which I love. That detail is so cute. If you know the movie, you know what that's about. I love this, but what do you think? Sadly, this is the end of the video, and I'm sad that that's my 2 Jurassic Park Nails videos done. Jurassic Park July is coming to an end, but I'm definitely going to be doing loads more Jurassic Park Nails in my future, so just hang on for those. Also, I wanted to show you my dinosaur. So this is a children's toy that I then painted pink and blue, and then I put a veil on her and some flowers and a little bit of bling still on there, just about. And there was a blue boy one to go with this as the groom, and they were cake toppers. I'm not sure where the blue one is. I think she left him, to be honest. Got sick of his she's a single lady. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I just thought I would show you that. Since I showed you a photo in the last video from my wedding, I was like, I'll just show you something else. But anyway, as always, thank you so much for being here, watching this video. I appreciate you so much. I'm just a girl trying to make it, trying to do stuff, trying to have cool, pretty nails and have fun. And I hope you stick with me along for the ride. If you enjoyed these dinosaur nails, please give this video a thumbs up and also don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Okay, love you, bye. It's a bit aggressive. I'm just seeing how much I actually look like a clown.